Now, the thing is that most people have this misconception that spiritual awakening is a blissful event, that all of a sudden all your problems are dissolved and you become ecstatic and happy and, completely blissful. But it's actually not that way. Once you get a glimpse of the non-dual awareness, your mind has touched upon a dimension where it has seen its own absence. And that absence was a bliss or love that cannot be described in words. That state cannot be described in words other than just pure nothingness or complete emptiness. But the thing is that no state is permanent. Even the non-dual experience or awareness that we see is not permanent. So the mind eventually comes back to duality. And when this experience is new, the mind of the seeker becomes a lot turbulent because there is a lot of conflict now. You had created a reality for yourself. Your whole world was my work, my business, my relationships, my life, my family, my hobbies, my profession, my friends, my this, my that. Now you begin to see let's say that there has been a glitch in the matrix and you begin to see the light now. You begin to see the illusory nature of reality. And all of a sudden you find that there is actually nothing that you enjoy. So with awakening, what happens is that one begins to experience a lot of emotional states. So you would experience euphoric highs, and then there would be times when you would experience the lowest of lows. Now, if you go to a psychologist or a therapist, they would diagnose you with some kind of depression or something. They would give you a formal diagnosis. But the thing is that your mind has touched upon a dimension, and now that it is back into duality, there is a conflict. Because all those things that you thought were real, now you can just see through and through their illusions, their illusory nature. And this includes everything. All your ideas of glory, money, fame, attachment, everything, attachments to material wealth, attachments to spiritual ideas, attachments to any form of belief system, because you have seen reality through and through direct perception. Whatever was given to you as knowledge now starts becoming irrelevant. And that is something which the ego does not like. Because the ego mind sustains by repeating the same stories over and over again. Because the whole idea of the ego mind is to perpetuate itself. It is always in the survival mode. So it wants to protect itself all the time. Now, since the mind has seen the dimension where there was no ego, the ego somehow knows that its own existence is illusory. But the thing is that although the awakening has happened, what lacks is the deliverance of that knowledge. That means it is not completely embodied in the system. And that is why people experience dark night of the soul. I have made a video on that subject. If you want, you can check it out. And that can be the worst form of depression. It's a sort of a spiritual depression. It's a worst form of depression because there's intense conflict at that stage, and the mind keep flip flopping. When I say flip flopping, what I mean is that at some point you will feel that all this concept of non-duality, non-doership is real, and it is here and now. And but there will be moments when the emotional experiences will be so intense, so overwhelming, that the mind will say that no, this does not make any sense. This does not make any sense. So there is this constant confusion, constant conflict. So one feels that someone should help me out, and some sort of relief. One wants to feel some sort of relief from all this overwhelm. And the emotions can be quite high in intensity. And whatever traditionally we have been taught, like whatever tips and tricks we have been giving, like do deep breathing, do this, do that, maybe drink a glass of water, all those are fine. But they just work in the moment. As soon as you are out of the moment and again integrated into the regular environment, then you again start experiencing the confusion and the conflict. So spiritual awakening is necessarily not a very blissful experience. In fact, it is a painful experience until the deliverance is complete. That is, that when you know at the core of your being that you are not the doer, and that things happen, but there is no individual doing anything. When this knowledge becomes your reality, only then the relief comes. And when it comes, is not in anybody's control. For some people, it is instantaneous. For others, it takes time. And yet there are people, for them it takes eternity. I remember during my phase of the dark night of the soul, my mind was jumping up and down continuously. There were times when I was absolutely bitter, very angry, and then there were times where just tears would come out of my eyes. And all the emotions are experienced so vividly. Even the sadness is experienced so clearly that it looks very beautiful. And that is the thing, that once the mind touches that dimension, you start experiencing things in more clarity. So when you experience lower emotions, even they are high in intensity. And when you feel euphoric highs, their intensity is also amazingly high. But yes, when the deliverance happens, after that one settles down and one experiences things in a similar manner like when they experienced before awakening. But now there are no high intensities or lower intensities. It's like you hit a baseline, and then there is a constant sense of peace which prevails in all situations. It is not to say that the emotions disappear. Emotions are still there, but since there is no ego, to take the ownership of the experience. That component of the ego is missing. There is no component of the ego that says that I am experiencing this emotion. So the intensity of the emotion does not last long. Yes, in the moment one may feel a bit anxious, one may feel sad, one may feel happy or excited, but nothing carries forward in horizontal time. So it does not create suffering. That is the only difference. So yes, the spiritual awakening initially is not a very blissful experience. It's not a very peaceful experience, because your whole world has crumbled. Everything you thought about, all your concepts, all your ideas, everything is challenged, because they all sustained only when there was a subject here. Now that you have seen the illusoriness of this subject, now that you know that this is not your constant reality, that this is just an abstraction on what is real, then there is nothing to sustain any idea, any belief. And yes, one does one does operate normally as we operate in daily living. But yes, during the times of emotional unrest, one may withdraw from the society. And I'm sure you must have experienced this. If you have experienced spiritual awakening, you must have experienced that you did not want to talk to anybody at that time. And you did not want to do anything at that time. Maybe you did not want to pursue your hobbies, things which you would generally like to do. You just gave everything up because of that. Some people take up Kundalini practices, and when they experience this surge of energy, then all of a sudden they find that they are shaking, that they are unable to do the regular work which they used to do. But you see, that is the way energy works. It is a process, and it takes time for the energy to clear blockages in the energetic system of the body. So it is all purging phase, and the purging phase has some side effects, you can say. So yes, the emotional intensities that we experience is a side effect of the cleansing which goes on within, which the psychologists and therapists, they treat it as disorders, like as a depression or anxiety, whatever. But yes, with time, this intensity reduces, and one experiences a sense of peace, which is quite stabilizing and quite neutral. Like, I would say that it is one's own natural state. It is not marked by any kind of excitement or, a blissful emotion. It is just a very natural and neutral feeling. So if you are someone who has been going through this phase, I want you to know that everything will be fine. Be as much loving and compassionate towards yourself as you can be. And if possible, try to do some activities where you can, divert your mind for some time, because the clarity will come on its own. Forcing the mind to accept a clarity, accept a vision, can be troublesome. That will create more resistance, that will create more conflict. So, one just lets go of things. We just let ourselves loose. So let what come, whatever arises in the moment, no resistance is offered to that. So whatever comes up, let it come up. Whatever goes down, let it go down. I know it is difficult, it is challenging, but there is no easy way. It is what it is.